The hard copy spring issue of DDS Magazine is back in stock. Get exclusive tips on beauty and fashion tailored for dark-skinned women, as well as information on health, money, and colorism. Get the only magazine that puts you first at ddsmagazine.com/print. Act now while supplies last. Thank you for your support. So in this video, I want to talk about Wendy Williams filing for divorce. And I might do another video on Nipsey Hussle and Lauren London after this, because I thought they were married. Like, it was, first people were saying they weren't married, and then people were saying that they were, but come to find out, they were not married. And I just think Black women can learn a lot from these situations, from both Wendy Williams and Lauren London. So there are level up lessons in these situations. So these are level up videos. You guys want them? That's what these are. I'm just using current situations, that have a lesson in them. Maybe we'll start calling these videos and the femininity videos level up lessons. I don't know. So let's talk about Wendy Williams, and her alleged soon to be ex-husband, Kevin Hunter. Now, I don't watch Wendy often. My mom watches her every single day. So, she fills me in on some of the what she talks about on her shows. But I don't watch her unless it's a hot topic I'm interested in. I'm subscribed to her on YouTube, so some of the stuff comes up, and if it's interesting, I'll click on it. But overall, I don't actually tune into her show. But I have been listening to this drama going on with her husband, because Lovely T talks about it, Tasha K, all of the other celebrity news bloggers. So even though, celebrity blogging isn't my thing personally, I enjoy those channels. I do try to stay in the loop, and, they have all the receipts. I'm like, where do y'all get this stuff from? And, you guys send me stories as well. So thank you as well, to my subscribers. But a lot of y'all keep me in the loop on this stuff. And whenever I can think to pull a lesson from it, or whenever I do pull a lesson from it for Black women specifically, then I feel compelled to make a video. So, Miss Wendy has been through a lot the last couple years. It's like she has been a hot topic herself. The Hot Topics lady is the hot topic. She passed out on stage. What was that? That was the year before last, I think. She's been having a lot of complications with her Graves' disease. Her husband was exposed for cheating, and his mistress, Sharina, she was identified, and she's like my age, so she's much younger than Wendy. Wendy broke her arm, and her husband allegedly being abusive is how her arm got broken. Then she went back on drugs or alcohol and was living in a sober house. Her husband's mistress allegedly had his baby. Then when that happened, Wendy allegedly left the sober house. And I have to keep saying allegedly, because y'all know these celebrities are starting to sue people for slandering them, quote unquote slandering them. And I know Wendy has been known to do that, or maybe her husband is the one doing that. If the blogs are talking about him or whatever, he'll make them take the information down and all this stuff. So his mistress allegedly had his baby, and when that happened, Wendy allegedly left the sober house and started drinking again because she was so stressed out about it. So, Wendy has been going through a lot. And now the word is out that she has filed for divorce from Kevin Hunter. And some people are saying, hey, this is your karma. You've been talking about everybody else for all these years, and now, it's like what goes around comes around. But even if you don't like her, for me anyway, personally, I may not particularly care for Wendy like that, but I don't wish bad health on anybody. I was very disturbed by seeing her pass out. Like, people were making a joke about that. I didn't think that was funny. But I will say that, as a YouTuber, obviously I'm not a celebrity, definitely not a celebrity, definitely not on Wendy's level. But when you talk about people publicly and you have an audience, you're going to be on the receiving end of that as well. People are going to talk about you. It just comes with the territory. But honestly, I think Wendy Williams handles that pretty well, but I'm sure it's embarrassing for her that her man is out here making her look like a fool while she's on her show talking about everyone else's marriage and, holding up her ring, talking about how she, everything is good in Huntersville. And, it's like, girl, Like, if I were her, I wouldn't even have said that. Don't try to save face. Just, don't say anything or, continue to be vague about it and say, I'll talk about it when I'm ready. But honestly, I don't think that her embarrassment is why she's not saying much or being vague about what's going on in her marriage. I just think that because her husband is the executive producer of the show, and that she's probably only allowed to say so much about the situation. I mean, you never know. Her and her husband may be under some sort of contract to where she can't say anything on hot topics about her marriage, or if the rumors are true about him being abusive, then she's probably afraid to say something. I don't know why people aren't thinking about it like that. Like, you never know. Like, maybe she just really can't say anything, or maybe she's afraid to say anything. And I also agree with what other bloggers have said about her possibly trying to monetize the story about her marriage and write a tell-all book. Maybe she's trying to, cash in on it. I wouldn't be surprised. So, I really think that it's more than just, she doesn't want to tell her business but can talk about everybody else's. I think the situation is complicated because she works with her husband, and that's the point of this video, okay? Black women, be careful about working with your spouse, especially dating or marrying someone who works for you, who's on your payroll, especially because I don't know why. And I was talking about this with my mom, like, Black female celebrities do this a lot. Mary J. Blige married her manager. Jill Scott married a man who was in her band or something like that. Then he came out talking about how she was emasculating. Yeah, you work for her. It's like, come on. And you see where they are. You see Mary J. Blige is paying $30,000 a month in alimony. Jill Scott is divorced. She had to deal with her ex-husband publicly embarrassing her. I think Kelly Rowland is married to her manager as well. And listen, I'm not saying it never works, but ladies, we got to stop marrying down or dating and marrying the help. Like, you're not going to sit there and tell me that Wendy Williams and Jill Scott and, Mary J. Blige couldn't have done a little bit better. And I know that, Wendy Williams, her husband, I don't think, from what I've read on him, I don't think he came to her as a broke dusty. I think he had his own thing going on. Like, Kevin has his own career. Definitely. He definitely does. But I think that, eventually, obviously Wendy started making more than him. But I think him being the executive producer of the show, that was a mistake. Because as we can see, like, that whole setup is not working for most women. Like, your man needs to have his career and you need to have yours, because if you have a business together, when you separate, it's going to be harder to split all of your assets up. Do you guys know how difficult this divorce process is probably going to be for Wendy when her husband is the producer of her show? Like, is he going to quit? Can she fire him? Like, I don't know what their contracts are or anything like that. Like, is he going to be paying her alimony after this is all said and done? Because she's worth a lot more millions than him right now. I read that Wendy is worth 60 million. Her husband's worth like 7 million. So, but then again, he did cheat and he had a baby, and that's very public. So she can prove infidelity. But do they have a prenup? Like, I just don't know. Like, this divorce has the potential to get very, very messy, and Wendy is already not in the best health. She's not doing good health-wise, and as she's not doing good health-wise, her husband is having whole babies on the side. Like, what is going on? So, just imagine the amount of stress this is going to put on her. This divorce is going to put on her. Like, I don't know, maybe Wendy working, maybe that's her therapy, because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, why doesn't she just really take a break, like literally some months off? Like, she's been taking weeks off here and there, but like, Wendy need to take like 6 months to a year off or something like that. But maybe she's not taking off because, working takes her mind off of everything. I don't know. People handle their stress differently, but I don't know, Wendy. All I see is a stressed out woman who's trying to hold it together, trying her best to hold it together. But my point is, like, ladies, you need to position yourself in the best situation so that when you're old and sick, you won't be tied up like this, tied up legally and financially because your husband works for you or because you work for him. Like, because at any moment, somebody can act a fool or things can go south. and secure the bag with his money. You secure that bag with the man, right? But secure your own bag as well. Make sure you have your own money, and you can get your own money by using his money. You can do that. But make sure you have your own money that can't be taken away from you, that you are in control of. And if you have a man who just wants to control all of your money, that's probably not the man you need to be with, okay? Because anything can happen, and he could just leave you high and dry, and you don't want that. So you do need to be securing your own bag as well, ladies. Money that you're in control of, where if something happens, you have your own money. Because, anything could happen. Y'all saw what happened with Bernadine on Waiting to Exhale. She helped build that man, had 2 babies with him, and he left her. He left her with pretty much no money, and he left her for a white woman. And I'm not saying that'll always happen, ladies. Sometimes it does work out, but how many more examples of it going left do you need? Like, you see all these celebrity black women just having all of these terrible divorces, so apparently this whole, a man working for you, marrying the help, build a man workshop. Apparently that's not where it's at, especially with black women, because as I've stated a million times, the world associates black women with poverty. So they expect you to build them up. They expect you to build them from the bottom. But as soon as they have access to other women who refuse to build them, who only, date men or marry men who already have it together, who already have something to give them, they're going to go to those women. Either they're going to leave you or they're going to cheat on you with those women. So it goes to show you that men, to be honest with you, a lot of men, I don't know if it's most of them, but many of them do not respect the come up woman. They don't respect the woman that's going to build them up. They don't respect that. This is why they're leaving you for women and cheating on you with women who demand men that have it together when they first meet them. So, instead of being the come up woman or being a part of the Build a Brother workshop, you need to be the type of woman that's going to be there when he has his stuff together, because apparently those are the women that he wants anyway. That's who he's cheating with. That's who he's leaving you for. And yes, rich men cheat too. Established men cheat too. But that's all the more reason to be hypergamous, right? Why get cheated on and have babies by a broke dusty or somebody that, works for you? All men cheat. We know that they all have, a hard time staying faithful. Some women too. We're not, just all faithful. And no, not all men cheat. But I'm saying, ladies, it seems to be much harder for men to be faithful. And honestly, I've been questioning for the last couple years, is it really in a man's nature to be faithful or be monogamous? So, if you had a chance to be cheated on by a rich man or a poor man, which would you choose? And listen, I'm not saying that love and other qualities aren't important. They are. But why can't you love a man who makes good money? Why can't you love a man who's ambitious and love a man who brings something to the table? Men aren't running around here saying, pretty women cheat or whatever. They're not choosing ugly women or women they're not attracted to because their personalities are so awesome. No, they're choosing the women who they're attracted to, and they're finding good qualities in those women, and they're going for those women. So, it's the same thing. You can find a man who you're attracted to and is bringing something to the table. We all date for superficial reasons, men and women. And I don't know why that when we have these conversations, black women act like they can't find a good man who also makes a good living. There's ton of poor men who are bad people, who make bad decisions, who cheat on their wives and the whole nine. Okay, so if you know that men are capable of betraying you, rich or poor, then why not get the best deal you can find? And you know what else I was thinking about? This whole Wendy Williams situation, it reminds me of these MGTOW videos on YouTube. You have the MGTOW and they'll always say, oh, women initiate divorce. And they'll say it women initiate divorce because they just don't want to be married. They just get bored. They want a new man. They just don't want to be married. Why aren't we seeing that in these cases where women are getting divorced? No, in many cases, women initiate divorce because of what men do. Men cheat, or they're abusive or something like that. But in a lot of cases, let's just be real, men cheat. And in this case, this dude, Kevin Hunter, made a whole baby with his side chick And with Wendy Williams, I almost think that Wendy would have stayed with him. She would have stuck it out with him had he not got that woman pregnant and had he not publicly embarrassed her. And I actually know somebody. I'm not gonna say who it is because I know that they listen to my videos sometimes, but it's somebody who's very close to me, a woman in my family. This happened to her where her husband stepped out on her with a younger woman. And then she stepped out on him. She got revenge. So they both cheated. And then they separated for a minute. Then they were like, okay, we want to get back together. They planned to get back together. But then the side chick ended up pregnant. And because the side chick wasn't really that responsible, my family member's husband at the time was fighting for custody after the baby was born. And my family member said that, no, I can't do it. She wasn't about to, raise any more children. So she divorced him. But had he would have not had that baby, she would have stayed. So no men, MGTOW in particular, most women don't just up and divorce men. They usually have a reason to divorce them. Not saying women never mess up, not saying they're perfect, not saying they're flawless. Women do mess up. Sometimes women cheat and the man files for divorce, right? But we're not going to act like women are just filing divorce all willy-nilly for no reason. Like that's not usually how we hear it going down. Look how much Wendy has been through. Look how long it took her to file for divorce. I mean, come on. Bottom line, ladies, a man needs to be established and have his own before you marry him, and certainly before you have his babies. Stop thinking that it's all about love when you go into these relationships, when you go into marriage, when you have babies, because people fall out of love all the time. And then after the love is gone, it's going to be about the money and how you going to take care of them kids and where you going to live. It's going to be about that. So, I'm not saying... it's hard to say, oh, well, when you're in love with somebody, plan for divorce. But you really don't know what's going to happen. You don't. So, money needs to be considered before walking in and making life decisions, especially life decisions like having babies. You young women, who are childless right now, you have the information. So it's to the point to where now you don't have no excuses. You have the information. You see all these examples. You see countless examples of this going wrong when black women especially are not hypergamous and they're dating down and marrying down. You see how much they are failing when it comes to doing that. So, don't be them. Don't be them. You have a chance, young ladies. You have a chance. So, I'm done here. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section, and I'll catch up with you in the next video.